food. They have their own preparations, if you will, and where they have their own systems where they support themselves. They also have huge underground areas and bases where they have their own supplies to suit them. This was brought up or revealed back in 9/11, because for years and years I was saying and talking to people about the underground cities, the underground bases, especially in the West Virginia. And then right there on CNN, the day after 9/11, they said that President Bush was being kept in a secret location, and they suppose that he has gone to the largest underground area in the world, which is the city underneath West Virginia, which is a government behind the government. They actually announced that on CNN. I almost fell off my chair because they just said everything I'd been saying for years out there in public. And so,
wow.
Yes, and so they admitted what they had. But then, how brilliant, they said, aren't you happy that these places exist so that if Washington is destroyed, we still have a government underground? Does that make you happy, Isis?
Oh, jeez. Jesus,
yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Exactly. You know, what about the rest of us above the ground?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, well, what about, I call it the surface people. You know, I'm familiar about the military bases underground. I know about the one that we have up in, they used to have a base called Fort Ritchie, Maryland. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Fort Ritchie, Maryland, right next to it was Site R. Site R is a military base that's right in the mountain, next to, probably about 20 minutes or 20 miles adjacent to Camp David. And the only reason why I know about this is because I come from a background of military. So I had family that was stationed at Fort Ritchie, and back in the day they used to let you go into the base, and it looked just like a city, but what they called it was the underground Pentagon. So I knew that they had, you know, they were talking about how it was explained to me back then that they had tunnels that led from Washington, D.C. up to Fort Ritchie, Maryland, in the event that we would be attacked or, so forth and so on or whatever. It would be these underground tunnels that they was explaining to me back in the day. And I can so distinctly remember this as a kid because they shut all that stuff down now. You can't take any tours now, but I just remember that. And ever since then, I've always had a fascination with, well, what else is going on? What else is going on with our Earth? So now let's jump to the mind control aspect of things that are going on right now with, the television and the radio and so forth and so on. There's some serious mind control. And, I mean, I'm starting to realize now that just about everything that I've ever learned is not correct. You know what I mean? It's very disturbing when I sit back and I think about it.
Everything that we have been taught in school about history, about science, about biology, it's all a bunch of malarkey, And going back to what you said about those underground bases, especially in Maryland, they also connect to the base under Fort Detrick, Maryland, where Fort Detrick. The biology stuff is, and also to Fort Meade, where the NSA is located. So it's all connected, and so, yes, mind control. Well, that's a very big topic, and I would tell people to read my books on that, 13 Cube, True Reality of Sexuality, Hyperspace Helper book. Read all the information about it. It's very pervasive. 100% of the Earth is mind-controlled at this point. In the old days, they used to actually have physical sessions where they would traumatize children and other adults, and they would fracture the mind pattern, reprogram the fractured pieces of the personality into alters or sub-personalities. But these days, in the last 10, 15 years, they can actually program you just during the day and night from satellite transmissions and microwave towers, cell towers, while you're sleeping, while you're walking around doing your work. It goes right into your brain, alters the mind pattern, fractures the personality, and creates this matrix of programming within the person. And then there are triggers that you can hear on radio, television, movies, even from satellites, that will bring up or activate or trigger the sub-personality or a function into whatever is needed at the moment. It's a very big topic. We see things on the news every day that is connected to this mind control programming. All these snipers, all these murderers, that's part of stalker programming, assassin programming. It goes on and on and on. It is a huge, vast topic.
Well, you know, one of the things that I paid attention to, I was living in Maryland, which is really where I'm from. I was living in Maryland at the time when the whole D.C. sniper thing went down. And the crazy thing about it was that one of my good friends actually served him at the Shoney's restaurant in a town called Hagerstown, Maryland. I don't know if you're familiar with Hagerstown.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really funny because the first thing I thought was when they talked about this guy and after they caught this guy and the way he was doing the random killings, I mean, the guy was only found like 15 minutes away from my house. Like, that was so disturbing. Like, I was so scared to have my daughter go and catch a school bus. But I thought it was really odd because the first thing that came to my mind, Stewart, was this guy's a Manchurian candidate.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, this guy is a Manchurian candidate because they were talking about, like, I looked at when he died.